Okay.
Can I get one?
Yes. So this fucking. I was a little worried I wouldn't see you today. Since you did it, at least you get the notes today. So, okay, everyone's got their logic board. Remember, don't use a pen, use a pencil. If you made a bunch of mistakes, that's going to be kind of rough, so you can't make fixes on that. But let me pop it up here on the board, and we'll kind of go through it here. Ms. Spear, can you turn off the lights for me, please? Thank you. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of time to get out your notes, or if you have your grid sheet out. I know a lot of you put like the clues on the back of it. That'll be great. Have that out in front of you. I'll give you a few seconds here to do that as I take attendance. Okay, and let's see, Asia here. Chris. Yeah, I'm just try to do that. I'll take attendance on that. Asia will walk in about 3 seconds, it's guaranteed. Okay. Are we ready to go? We know what we're doing? Okay. In fact, let me zoom in here. Okay. All right, so the section we're in, it's on logic. So I want to make sure, let's see, I got everything accounted for. Do whatever you want here. Looks like I'm gonna have to stand up here and click. Okay, we're gonna have to go old school. That seems like I froze too. Okay, anyway, logic, if you don't know by definition, is reasonable, conducted, or assessed according to the strict principles of validity. So it's the idea of like, you're trying to figure out what's true or not. The grid that you have in front of you is kind of like a Sudoku. So if you don't know what a Sudoku is, that is where you go through every row here, and every column has a specific answer that's going to be in it. You have to find all the answers that work in the top box and the second box, and that's kind of what you're doing. But just on your grid, you don't have like these three. You won't need those. That's why you're kind of looking at what you have. When we do the logic grid itself, this is the story problem. Every logic grid has a story problem to it. So the story problem I provided you yesterday was that the bobsledders had an accident. We're trying to figure out who the partners are, what country they're from, and what color of sleds they're using. The goal is to figure that out before the end of class today. So you have about 30, 40 minutes here. Okay. All I warned you yesterday was that every male is paired with a female, so one male, one female. The country and color of the sled is completely randomized, so don't like assume that USA is blue, and then it can be random. So because I just picked random colors and random countries. So now. For the clues, these are your 9 clues. So if you didn't write these down yesterday, double check that they're on the back of your paper today. You'll need them. Number 1, Phil and Betsy are the green sled duo. So on your grid, you need to fill in how that they're actually partners with each other. So what I talked about yesterday was to show that Phil and Betsy are partners. Here's the grid with all the names of like the people. So you had Betsy, you had Lulu, and you had Connie. I think the women are down the other side, but that's fine. You had Ted, you had Philip, Phil, and you had Zane. You had some others, and I think those gentlemen wrote down. But anyway, you know that Phil and Betsy are partners. So I usually put a circle there, and then that means Phil can't be partnered with any of the other females. So you put X's. Betsy is not paired with any of the other males. So you can start to fill in the grid, and as you put all these circles and X's in the grids for all the locations, you can eventually figure out who's paired with who, with the 9 clues I give you, right? This is the first clue. Now, you also have to look at the colors. So down the road, there's a grid over here for colors, green, red, blue, that type of thing. And you know, Phil is green, so all the rest of them are knots. All the other men cannot be, you know, greens. And then you have to go down in the list, down over here, because Betsy has the same thing. That there's colors down here, there's green, red, blue, and you know that, you know, Betsy's got to be green, so none of the other women can be greens, and Betsy's not any of the other colors. So you can fill in a lot of the grids. The one that a lot of people were not using very effectively yesterday was the country of origin and the color of the sled. That, by the way, that box can help you. What country and what color sled they have. I'm not joking, I almost had that grid filled in first. Like the whole box filled in after just the 9 clues. I knew exactly what countries and sleds they were. So then I had a lot of other clues I went off of from them. Okay, questions on how to fill in the grid. You have to have the entire grid filled in for you to figure out the final answer. The answer I want is going to be written off to the side. So like on that page, you know how you have that big white space that's kind of an L shape down by your grid? You're going to write down your answers in that area. Like, oh, this Phil and Betsy, or this country with this color. They're green. And then these two are partners. This is their country, this is their country. You're going to write those down word for word off to the side. Your grid should prove that. Okay, so there's clue number 1. Does anyone still need clue number 1? Clue number 2. The Romanian team does not use red. So if you're going to the country of origin and the colors of the sleds, you already should have an X next to red in Romania. That was clue number 2. Romania is not red. Clue number 3. Bobby doesn't use a black sled. So if you're on the grid, you go find Bobby's name, go down and find black, put an X there. That one, by the way, this is actually incredibly important later in that problem. Like if you don't have Bobby's doesn't use black, you'll not be able to figure out the country or colors for the other players. That's actually an important one, so to figure out what country he is. Knowing that he is not using black. That was a subtle clue, but it's actually important for later on. Phil doesn't sled for Canada or Romania. Well, Phil is partnered with Betsy, right? That means Betsy is not for Canada or Romania either. Now they use the word or there. It should have been the word and. This is a famous problem, like it's not one that I made up personally. I just changed colors and names. But the idea is that they meant to say like and. They don't sled for Canada and Romania. They don't do for both. That applies to Betsy because that's his partner. Okay, 5th clue. Connie is German. So that means that also, like if you think about Connie's German, that means Phil and Betsy cannot be German because they're not paired with Connie, because it's one female, one male. So Connie's German, and she wouldn't be caught dead in a red or blue sled, and that's and. She's not in red or blue, right? She's not in either of them. Should have been the word and, really. She wouldn't be caught dead in the red and blue sled, but I understand why they would use the word or. Two separate sleds, but. Sixth clue. Does anyone still need these, by the way? I know, like Joe, I know you're trying to catch up today. You good? Yeah. 6th clue. Ted and his partner have the white sled. And he is not from US, Germany, or Romania, so that means that if you think about this logically, Ted is not a partner with Connie. So you can mark Ted and Connie are not partners. And then that means Connie doesn't have white sleds, because Connie's German and Ted isn't. So that means that Ted's, whatever team he is, isn't using, isn't German, so that means Connie's not using white. That also means that US, Germany, and Romania are not white sleds. So there's a lot of logic you can fill in that graph. That's why the countries and the colors of sleds are really important. That's why you gotta fill in that one box. Okay, questions on the first 6 clues so far? 7 clues. 7th clue, Lulu's from the US. That means Lulu is also not a partner with Ted, because Ted said he's not from the US. And that also means that Lulu doesn't use a white sled. Like, duh. She's from the US and Ted wasn't, and he used white. So she doesn't use white. Jane does not use the Jane does not use the blue sled. Ooh, almost said something bad. She doesn't use the blue sled. So you can mark blue for next to Jane. And the last clue, and you need to use all 9, Lance is not from Germany. So if he's not from Germany, that means he's not paired with Connie. Connie's from Germany. And he doesn't use the red sled either. Because Connie, I think, didn't use red either. So. Okay, there's your 9 clues. I'm going to put this on repeat. You have the next 30 minutes to figure this out before you have to turn it in. Okay? If you have it done, I want to check it. Okay? Because some people do have them done. Like I had 1 class yesterday, 1 period, 1 pod actually got done before they left. And they had me check it. But you need to have all of your answers written off to the side. Okay? Alright, I'm turning the lights. The rest of the time is yours. I'm going to put that on cycle so you can see those clues over and over and over. And also, if you just go to the website, the PowerPoint's there, so you can go to my personal website and see it all. You have another one? Yeah. You made a mistake?
Yeah, this one, and I have to.
Ah, yeah. Alright.